Like, bro, are we serious right now with this shit? You guys know me, GZTV back in the building. I am a Celtics fan. I am a Tatum Glazer. I know that I may seem a little biased, but Jayson Tatum is a top 10 player, no debate. There's no debate here. You could even say in the upper half of the top 10 if you want to get aggressive. Now, I completely understand people putting him 6, 7, and 8, but he's a top 10 player. He's a star, one of the future faces of the league once LeBron, KD, and Curry call it for their careers. People want to talk about Wembanyama. People want to talk about Anthony Edwards, and sure, those are great players to carry on the NBA brand, but Jayson Tatum is the anomaly. That's why he gets that nickname. Most people forget about Jayson Tatum. This season, Jayson Tatum is scoring 27 points a game, grabbing about 9 boards a game, and dishing out about 6 assists per game. Just to put this in perspective, during LeBron's best seasons with the Heat, where he was winning MVPs year after year, well, back-to-back to be specific, most people considered that to be his prime, obviously. He averaged less points, and they basically grabbed the same amount of rebounds and had very comparable assist numbers as well in his MVP seasons with Miami. Now, obviously, LeBron is a more efficient player and he's a lot better of a player. We are talking about LeBron James, who is hailed often as one of, if not the greatest. In my opinion, he is the greatest basketball player of all time. But I'm just using this to say no to the not top 10 talks, no to Tatum being overrated, and no to him being a soft superstar. Don't worry, Brandon, I'll get your weak ass here in a second. We have a whole segment dedicated to you. LeBron won his first title at 27. Just last season, Tatum won his first title at the age of 26 while being drafted at the age of 19. LeBron was drafted at the age of 18. I get the organization Bron was with, and again, I'm not disrespecting Bron or putting any of this on him. I'm literally showing you that Tatum is following the lineage of an all-time great, debatably the greatest basketball player of all time. And you can say Tatum got brought into a privileged system, again, compared to LeBron, but the Celtics were ringless in a 15-year span from 2009 to 2004 or 2024 when Jayson Tatum and the guys finally got the dub. And about 7 or 8 of those years, Tatum had to struggle through. The Celtics were a somewhat consistent playoff team prior to the Tatum era, but they fell short 8 years in a row, which isn't like this franchise. No offense to Isaiah Thomas, and I hate that the Celtics handled him how they did, but you're not winning a finals with him as your star player, which is why Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum were drafted in consecutive years to change the culture. Tatum did have a slow start in his first 2 seasons, barely being a Rookie of the Year candidate and being the 3rd or 4th option on his team with the addition of Kyrie, and that in and of itself prevented a lot of success in Boston. You know, Kyrie's stint with Boston could make for a whole separate video, and I'm not trying to get into that right now. Let's move on. Something changed in that 3rd year, though, as Tatum would make the All-Star game and was debatably a top 15 player in the league and the bona fide star of a Celtics team that won nearly 50 games. From there, it was straight fireworks, as Tatum would go on to be an All-Star every year from there on out, make 3 All-NBA first teams in a row, which, by the way, is already as many as Bill Russell, who is often hailed as the greatest Celtic of all time, had in his career, the same amount, and more than guys like John Stockton, Russell Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, and many other legends, and won the first ever conference finals MVP, like, wow, Mickey Mouse award. He still won the damn award. Then came his first finals appearance, where I'm kind of just going through the lineage of Tatum's career here, where he averaged about 22 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds a game, and shot a respectable 46% from beyond the arc, but only shot 37% from the field and had about 4 turnovers a game. So now people were questioning. Now this is where the agenda started to pop up. Is this guy really a star? Can this guy carry this franchise to their accustomed glory and return to glory like they did 15 years prior? The Celtics won the East in between their finals appearances and were a consistent 60 to 65 win team, which is unbelievable, by the way. And they were one of the more efficient teams, one of the more productive teams in NBA history in that regular season in between the 2 finals. But they fell short in the Eastern Conference Finals, as they had done about 4 or 5 of the last 10 years before that. Think about it. The Boston Celtics were basically the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers of the NBA at this point. Tatum, however, led the team in win shares, which determines how much he contributed to the team's success, and averaged 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists per game over a 20-game span. And although the shooting splits were still a little shady, sitting at about 46 and 32, his true shooting was up to 59% from his 48% in that final series while playing more games, so he was showing some serious improvement. In the 2023-2024 season, Tatum knew what he had to do: get the job done. In the regular season, he averaged 27, 8, and 5 and seemed to be in heavy MVP considerations that year, finishing 6th in the votings. Come playoff time, he averaged 25, 10, and 6 in 19 games, which seems like a slight decline, but he shot a true shooting percentage of 55% and led his team to the NBA Finals, where, yeah, he only averaged 22, 7, and 8 in a 5-game span, but given the team he was on, he was still the best player on the team and should have probably won Finals MVP. And for those of you that don't believe me, he averaged more points, rebounds, and assists while shooting better from behind the arc and at the line than Jaylen Brown, and I don't see a soul hating on Jaylen Brown for that series, even though he was labeled the Finals MVP, but again, the agendas continue. Wow, the front office weren't a bunch of idiots and decided, hey, maybe Al Horford isn't a suitable #1 big man on a championship team. Neither is Robert Williams, so we should give Kristaps Porzingis a chance, and they took a chance on a guy that was on an extreme career decline, and he came to the Celtics with the pride and with the desire and with the motivation to win, and he didn't let it slip. Wow, maybe we need a better version of Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday. These are teams that people are blaming Tatum for. People are hating on Tatum for being on a good team when it's really just complete wizardry from the Celtics front office. I mean, the Celtics front office in the last 5 to 10 years has had one of the best runs of any front office in the association. I mean, think about it. KD got traded to the Warriors. Were people hating on Curry for that? LeBron got sent to the Heat. Were people hating on D Wade for that? No and no. So why should people be hating on Tatum here? I know. Y'all just find a way to project your miserable selves on one of the best players in the modern NBA. He's at least 8th in the NBA right now. I've never seen a guy who is scoring, rebounding, and passing at an all-star level get this much slander. Now, we talk about guys that do all 3 of those things at all-star level. LeBron never got this in his runs with the Heat, even though they did lose to the Mavs, and sure, that's justifiable hate, and sure, maybe the hate that Jayson Tatum got after the finals against the Warriors was justifiable, but I'm pretty sure Tatum was a good 4 years younger than LeBron when he was in that series than when LeBron was at the Heat. Although Jokic is a better player, he doesn't get this hate. Again, LeBron surely doesn't get called corny and all these stupid gimmicky things. Luka has never been this hated on either. Wow, he's so corny. So is Joel Embiid saying he will never play a back-to-back. So is Jimmy Butler acting like an absolute crybaby over his contract, so much so that he got overpaid. So is a washed Draymond Green getting into fights and talking shit on young players, but no one wants to talk about that, huh? I'll keep that in mind. Wow, Shai Gilgeous has cringy Instagram captions, and wow, they throw towels on the reporters after the game. If Tatum did that, it would be a fucking media wildfire. Are you kidding me? Oh, Brandon Jennings, don't think I forgot about you. Let's get to you. Softest superstar in the league? Jayson Tatum has scored 5,000 more points in a season and a half less than you played, even though scoring was damn near all you could do. Now, sure, he was a solid facilitator, and I respect Brandon Jennings to a degree. He was a solid NBA player, but we're comparing him to Jayson Tatum, as he is talking shit about Jayson Tatum. Tatum never got traded mid-season. You did, though. Tatum surpassed your peak by the time he was in his 3rd year in the league, my guy. You never eclipsed 20 points per game. A player like Darius Garland, Pascal Siakam, hell, even a player like Miles Bridges is better now than you were in your career ever. They're about 4 to 5 tiers down as players than Jayson Tatum. He would literally be like a Darius Garland type of player at his absolute prime, and that might even be generous for him. You played for 11 different basketball teams in a 9-year career. Not all of those were NBA teams either. Tatum will most likely never get traded from the Celtics, by the way. The only thing you ever did in the league was make a rookie team. Congrats on being Mr. Basketball and being an All-American and winning Player of the Year honors. Have fun with your high school accolades, but Tatum did all those things and then much, much more. Tatum has about 15 NBA accolades to year 1, including winning an NBA championship, which is the ultimate goal when you are in the league. So tell me, Brandon, why should we give a fuck what you have to say about a man who is going to carry the NBA brand of basketball forward along with Shai and others for the next decade or so? You were never able to do that, so why should we care? I'm done here. Mic drop. I'm done.